how many scenes did you shoot with the mustache in this film?
I can't really talk about that.
In 2017, I saw Justice League in theaters and I left unsatisfied. 3 years later, and the true Justice League is going to be released, but I want to take a moment and discuss that maybe we should be thankful for the theatrical cut. But before we do, I want to talk to you guys about a game called Raid Shadow. Psych!
That was the fat ass nut!
So this movie was disappointing to say the least. You had a rushed plot, shitty CGI, barely any character development, a lackluster villain, and a mixed match of original footage and reshot footage stitched together like a Frankenstein's monster. There were 2 or 3 scenes that I actually enjoyed in this overall forgettable movie. I could go on and on about this movie forever, but I recently been seeing people online make some good points about the best thing to come from the theatrical cut, and that is, if it wasn't for 2017's Justice League, we wouldn't be getting the Snyder Cut in 2021. Okay, so there are 3 main reasons why we're getting the Snyder Cut. 1, AT&T bought Warner Brothers. 2, they noticed a huge outcry from fans wanting the Snyder Cut. And 3, HBO Max was started and they needed something big to draw users to the service. So it was kind of the perfect storm. Personally, I don't think Warner Brothers would have ever greenlit finishing the Snyder Cut, just based on how long they ignored it. But what if Warner Brothers never brought in Whedon to reshoot Justice League, and instead, they continue with their normal plan for the release? According to Snyder, changes were happening to Justice League before they even started filming, based mainly on the reception of BVS. The original script for Justice League had to be rewritten because there was a lot of things that Warner Brothers didn't want them to do.
Chris Terry and I had finished the script for Justice League before this movie came out. So that script was done. Movie came out, and some people didn't like the movie, a vocal minority. And so I was asked by the studio to say, hey, you can't, there's a lot of stuff we don't want you to do from that script. So we did a rewrite, right, of the script. So the original Justice League that Chris and I wrote, we didn't even shoot. I mean, there's a lot of it that we shot, but the actual idea, the hard idea, the scary idea, we never filmed because the studio was like, that's crazy.
And this led to a lot of back and forth. For example, they said it was too scary, which led to change in Steppenwolf's design. The 2017 design was the compromise that they had to make because Warner Bros. Didn't want the one from BVS. Another was no black suit Superman. And finally, the runtime. They wanted it to be just 2 hours long. That's it. We know now that the Snyder Cut is 4 hours long, so that would have cut the movie in half.
When they said 2 hours, they kept telling me 2 hours. I was like, dude. No, I really thought it was a joke. I would be like,
oh, I would have too.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
So now let's see. Snyder would have to use the boring Steppenwolf design, no black suit, and the movie would be half the original runtime. Now, I'm going to do some theorizing, so hang with me for a minute. This is how I think it probably would have gone down. We get a 2-hour theatrical version, which is half of the footage cut out, and it would more than likely cut out character development in favor of trying to keep the plot moving, while also cutting out some details in the story to keep things under the runtime, which would make it feel choppy.
You don't know shit about choppy.
Which in turn would probably lead to some terrible reviews. And well, you know, it's like BVS all over again, but the issue would be even more glaring since more of the footage was removed. We saw in BVS how 30 minutes can make a big difference. Now imagine 2 hours. Now, after the release, depending on how well it did the box office, we would probably get an extended cut adding back anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes. I say 30 minutes because that's the amount of footage in BVS Ultimate Edition, so that's the low end. And 50 minutes because that's how much longer the extended cut of Return of the King is, another Warner Brothers movie. And the longest version of Watchmen is the Ultimate Cut, and that is roughly 50 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. So, I would guess 50 minutes to maybe an hour on the high end. And that's being generous because I honestly don't see Warner Brothers continuing to put money into a movie after it's released, at least not enough to finish 2 more hours of footage, especially if the movie bombed at the box office. So we get an extended cut with 30 minutes of extra footage in it, like in BVS. And if we're lucky, we get like a Watchmen situation where they do another cut called the Ultimate Cut, where we get another 20 or 30 minutes of footage, giving us a 3-hour version if we're lucky. So that leaves us with another hour of unseen footage, and I don't think Warner Bros. Would fund it any further and move on to other projects. Similar to what they did with Snyder's previous film, Sucker Punch, where the full version was never finished. And that's where our journey will end, and I'm basing this on how they treated Snyder's movies in the past, and on the changes we know they forced on Snyder before reshooting. We wouldn't be able to see Snyder's full vision, instead just a chopped up, trimmed down version with changes forced by the studio, with the possibility of extended or director's cuts on Blu-ray later on. But considering all the behind the scene tensions between Snyder and Warner Brothers, I really doubt that they would fund an extended or director's cut. At least not to the capacity where they'll show all 4 hours of the footage. So maybe, just maybe after taking all that into consideration, the theatrical cut of Justice League is the best thing to happen, because it leads to us seeing the movie that Snyder wanted to make with his 4 hours of runtime, original design, and black suit. But of course, it's all just a theory. A game theory. Let me know how you think it will go down if Snyder's movie released in 2017 the way Warner Bros. Wanted it to. Also, just thinking about it, if it did release in 2017, we could have gotten a Richard Donner or Blade Runner situation happen where they released the full versions decades later. I'm happy I don't live in that world. Anyway, thanks for watching. Get out of my room.
Play Minecraft! Is Superman in this movie?
Well. Next question.